Alright, let's see what we're at. YouTube.com. My channel. Let's see how we're doing today. Oh my gosh, is that what it's been this whole time? That is so ugly. Hello all, my name is Kyle, aka the Kyng-Pin of Spades, and I've been doing YouTube since May of 2016, which at this point is almost 5 years, which is scary to think about. But a majority of that time, this has been my profile picture. And, well, it's not great. As many of you can undoubtedly tell, I'm trying way too hard in this picture to be cool. And the banner's also a dumpster fire, but we'll get to that later. So today I want to go and redo the profile picture and the banner for my channel. And trust me, this has been a long time coming. So what I decided to do is I decided to use this picture in which I'm trying way too hard to be cool. And what I decided to do was split me in half and do one half of my face Photoshop, the other half digital drawing, because I do both on this channel. And if I took a picture of my sketches, they look like this. And if I didn't, nothing. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the show. To begin, I cut myself in half and drew in the half that was cut out. And here's the final product. That's a lie. Although I did cut myself in half, that part was true. I also removed the green screen background behind me and duplicated the layer and lowered the opacity to trace over to make sure I got the proportions right. And oh, how little that actually helped. And then, as I was sketching in the facial features, I noticed I looked a little bit like Heath Ledger's Joker. So I got a bit sidetracked and turned myself into the Joker. And I was considering just making this my profile picture from when I drew it up until when the video went live as just like a joke, but it looked pretty dumb. Then, as I was doing line work, I realized my bald head made me look like another famous clown, Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise. So I got sidetracked again and turned myself into Pennywise. This video was almost called Turning Myself into Famous Clowns, in which the only difference from my real life would have been the famous part. At this point, I was clowning around way too much, so I had to crack down on myself and enter into
super serious mode.
So I separated my face, shirt, and jacket into separate values and began applying shading. However, unlike my previous digital art projects, I decided to go with exposure for shadows and highlights rather than a solid color of black and white. And the reason I did this is I saw Benny Productions use it for a couple of his projects, and I figured, why not give it a shot? And oh buddy, oh boy, does it look way better. So I'll definitely be using that from now on. Then, to start off the coloring process, I had to do the hair first because I couldn't stand looking at that dome I had. And what I did here was I just went through with a couple of different shades of brown and different hair brushes. That is, brushes that are shaped like hair strands, not like physical hair brushes. That would just be weird. But I like the way it turned out. It was very different than how I've done it in the past, and not drawing out the hair and where it would be looks a lot different and, dare I say it, a bit better. Next in line for coloring was the skin, and before I even put in a skin tone, I applied some yellow, red, and green colors to my face from top to bottom respectively. And I did this because when I was in my 3D character building class, I saw a video that explained that these underlying tones are something we have in our face. And I also used it in previous digital art projects. Projects Phoenix. Check it out now. Link in card. Excuse me. Anyway, after applying those colors, I average blurred my face as a whole to get a flat skin tone that I can then use in the drawing. So I put that down, applied it lightly, and then smeared out the excessive freckly bits. The clothing was pretty much the same thing. They were already the colors I wanted them to be, so the only thing I really had to do was just use different values and different texture brushes to make them look a little less flat. And I think it turned out pretty good. Now, before we can let the public eye see this, we had to make a few tweaks here and there. And by that, I mean the lips. I don't know how I missed it, but I decided to draw them at a 45-degree angle, and I thought that looked good. It didn't. So I redid them completely from line work, value, coloring, shading, and I even added a bit of texture this time, so I definitely like them a lot more than they were. I also added a blue light to the side of my face, so I had orange coming in from the photo side and blue light coming in from the drawn side. And I also changed the background because for some reason I let that lame gradient slide. I don't know what I was thinking. So instead I took an image of dripping paint that I recently hand drew and put it in the back, which I think looks a lot better, number one, and gives it a bit more of a touch of a, hey, we do art here kind of vibe. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, that was my long overdue profile picture. So while I'm making lunch, I just want to tell you guys about a few new things coming to the channel before we move on to the next project. We now have merch. That's right, we are selling sweatshirts, t-shirts, prints, and a bunch of other designs that you're going to have to go to the store yourself to see. If you're interested, the link is in the description below and in the channel banner, because I cannot put links in the cards yet. Thanks, YouTube! Now, before I can even start working on the new banner, I had to clean my eyes out first from staring at the old one for so long. Jeez, how did I not change this before? It's so bad! So I hopped into our friendly neighborhood 3D modeling program, Blender, and redid the same stylistic text that I used here, and here, and here. Actually, I didn't really reuse it, it was just the same image that I put in 3 different videos, so I'm really only reusing this stylistic text for the second time. With said text, though, I put my name in shining lights, and added a dazzling gold effect to be used in Photoshop. Side note, I don't know what I did in the Blender process to have these particular faces jettison off into space, but it was an easy fix that I could have fixed in Photoshop, so I didn't worry about it too much. And I actually fixed this problem in a recent stream that I did, which you can check out on twitch.tv/Kyng-Pin of Spades. Now back into Photoshop. I imported the 2 pictures that describe best what I do here on the channel: podcasting and art. It'll make sense later on. So, as is a trademark of this channel at this point, I removed the green screen background in the most complicated, least efficient way possible, and got rid of any pesky reflections by using a layer mask with the saturation turned all the way down. Before applying any effects to the images, I brought them into the banner project to see what formatting looked the best. Now I can apply the special effects. My Podsona didn't really need much, just some rim lighting. See what I did there? Persona, like, but for podcasts? Please laugh. The other me, however, required much more special effects. In
Epic glow,
if you will. So I replaced the random piece of garbage in my hand with the Photoshop logo and applied glow and highlights to it. I also played around a bit fixing the lighting because I didn't have the right shade of blue when I took the picture initially, so oops to that. And for the background, I was thinking of using those like hyperspace lines that I did in my 2020 art review intro, but I didn't want to like really reuse 2 projects, and also it didn't come out great. So I played around instead with a manga speed lines brush pack that I had, and I came up with this really cool gold looking one that I really liked. It looked very regal. I actually don't know if that's the right word. I don't English too goodly. Yeah, so those final lines didn't end up in the final product after all. Guess I didn't like them that much. That and a bunch of other things got changed as well. Mainly, I redid the glow on the Photoshop logo because I just thought it wasn't great. It was just an outer glow. It didn't look like the thing itself was glowing. So I went in with different blending modes and I fixed that, and it looks so much better. And because I am all powerful, or at least just extraordinarily dumb, I knew that I was going to run into some issues with the size of the banner when I uploaded it to YouTube. So I had to make it bigger, and I went through like 11 or 12 test images before I actually found what was right. And we made some major changes in this stage of tweaking. Mainly, I switched the personas around. The Podsona went right, and the Photosona went left. I then copied the entire image and put it above and below the center, and added a film reel overlay so it looked like, well, an old film reel going frame by frame. And I thought that was a pretty cool design choice on my part. And this update was so much more needed. I am so glad that hideous banner is gone forever. And there we go. Finally, I won't be disgusted with myself every time I log into my own YouTube channel. But that's going to do it for the video today. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all stick around because I've got some great things planned for this year. And we've got some really cool guests coming up for King's Chaos, which I'm super excited about. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Everybody, have a maximum day. See ya!